Hello learners, welcome to this session on Project in MA Psychology and Overview. You all must have entered into the second year now in the Masters of Arts in Psychology program. So Project is an important course in the second year of this MAPC program. So let us today discuss about this particular project course, what exactly it is and what are the processes that are involved in this particular project course. So as you know, project is in the second year, as I said, and this is a 6-credit course. And when you have entered into the second year, you must have chosen a particular specialization. Okay, either you have enrolled, you have opted for clinical psychology, or you have opted for counseling psychology as a specialization, or you have opted for industrial and organizational psychology. So as related to the particular specialization you have chosen, your course code will be MPC-E16, that is for clinical psychology, or MPC-E26, that is for counseling psychology, or MPC-E36 is your industrial and organizational psychology. Okay, so the project, which is a 6-credit course in the second year, okay, this project is related to your specialization that you have chosen in the second year. So when you are carrying out the project work, it has to be according to your specialization. So this you need to keep in mind in the first place, that if your specialization is clinical psychology, then the project topic that you will be choosing, you will be taking, that should be related to the clinical psychology specialization area. Or if you have opted for counseling psychology, the project topic that you will be taking should be related to the counseling psychology specialization area. Okay, so that is how and another important thing here is that project is an optional course in the second year. Okay, many of you have opted for project. Okay, if you have not opted for project, there is an option that you can choose an alternate theory course. Okay, so in case a learner chooses a particular alternative theory course, then in that theory course the learner has to do an assignment, as it is in case of any other theory course, one has to complete a particular assignment, and then after completing the assignment, that needs to be submitted at the study center, and then the learner will be appearing for the term and examination. So it is like any other theory course. Okay, in case you opt for the alternate theory course. Okay, the alternate theory course here is applied positive psychology. However, if you have opted for project, then it should be related to your specialization that you have chosen in the second year. Okay. Now, why we emphasize that it has to be related to your specialization? Because as you know, in the second year, you have to take up a particular specialization. So that is why your practical, your internship, your project in the second year must be related to the specialization that you have chosen. Then only we can say that it is a specialization that you are doing. Okay, so if you have seen in your practical also, you have practicals related to either counseling or organizational or your clinical psychology. Similarly, for the internship also, you will be doing internship activities related to your specific specialization that you have taken. So here also in the project, it is required that the topic that you will be selecting for doing project on, that must be related to the specialization area that you have taken. Okay, this is the first thing that you need to remember, because many times we see that a particular learner has taken counseling specialization, but the learner has opted for a topic which is relevant for the industrial and organizational area or clinical area. So that you need to remember, and accordingly you have to choose your particular topic for a project. Okay, now let us see what are the objectives of project course. Okay, now since you have chosen now the project course in your second year, you must be knowing what exactly are the goals that you are aiming at. Okay, basically project is a research study. It is a research work. You have to do a research on a particular area or on a particular topic. Okay, so that is how project involves a research work, and it involves identifying a specific topic. Okay, suppose let us say if you have chosen counseling psychology. Okay, now counseling psychology, you have to go through the different topics that are covered under counseling psychology, and accordingly you have to identify and formulate a research problem. A research problem is like what is the specific area or specific concern that you are interested in for doing a particular project in this particular area. Okay, so identifying research problem is one of the objectives of project course, and also not only identifying but how to formulate that research problem. That means formulating means how to write it down in the form of a research problem or in the form of a research question. So that is also a skill that one learns while doing a project course. Okay, and also when you are going for a project, the requirement is that you have to write a project synopsis or a research proposal. Okay, so how to write that research proposal, that is also one of the objectives of project course. You will learn how to write a project proposal in a particular format. Okay, that format usually it is given in the project handbook. You must have seen the project handbook. Okay, all the details are given in the project handbook, and you have to read the project handbook thoroughly in the first place, so that all the detailed guidelines you will be able to know. So another objective of project course is identifying and using appropriate research design. Okay, now when you are talking about doing a research work, okay, first thing is that you will be identifying a research problem, a research area, and then finalizing a research problem, then research objectives, and then how to carry out those objectives. For that you have to have a proper research design. Okay, like for example, if I give you an example here, when you are talking about a research design, like any suppose you are creating a building or you are creating a particular product, the design is the first important thing. Unless the design is proper, then our final product, our final the building structure will not be proper. So research also, it is like a proper systematic process. Here the designing part comes in the first place. So one has to have a proper research design. Okay, that research design will tell you how you will be going about doing your project work. What are the sample that you will be taking, what are the statistical techniques that you will be using to analyze the data, how you will be collecting the data. So it will give you the entire blueprint about the particular research work. So that is how the research design is a very important aspect of project or research work. So that also you will be acquiring the skills pertaining to formulating a research design, that also you will be learning as part of your project course. So research is basically, it is a systematic process and it is conducted in a scientifically way. It is conducted in a scientific way. Okay. So because you will start, there are various steps related to research. You will be following these different steps as part of your research work. So that is why, and it is also conducted in a scientific manner. Okay. So this involves identifying the sample, this involves collecting data, then analyzing the data. While analyzing the data also, you will be deciding which particular statistical technique to use. Okay. So as we see here, we can say that it is a research process. It involves scientific investigation and which is done in a very systematic manner. Okay. So there are different steps to conducting a particular research. Okay, as we can see here, it starts from the selection of guide. If you have gone through your project handbook, we have given clear guidelines regarding how to select a guide. Usually your academic counselors are your guide. Okay, in case you do not want to take your academic counselors, there are other criteria also given in the project handbook. Following those criteria, you can select your guide. Okay, so we will be talking about those criteria in a short while, but these are the different processes or steps that are involved in carrying out a particular project work. So first you will be selecting your guide, you will be contacting your guide, and then you are deciding on a particular area in which you want to do your research, and related to that area you will be finalizing your topic. Now when you are talking about finalizing a topic, you have to be clear that what is the specialization area that you have taken. Okay, you are doing your master's in psychology and then you have chosen a particular specialization. So when you are identifying a topic, for example, suppose let us say in your neighborhood there is a problem related to waterlogging. Okay, or in your institution there is problem of waterlogging or drainage is not proper. So that is also an issue or a problem. Okay, that is also an area of concern. But are you going to do a research on that when you are doing a specialization in clinical psychology or counseling psychology or industrial and organizational psychology? So the point here is that you have to be clear about the nature of the problem here, okay? Because there are there are various types of problems around us, but you have to see, because you are doing specialization in psychology, you have to see that you are choosing a particular area which is related to psychology, okay, where the concerns or the problem or issues are of psychological nature, okay, and it is related to the particular specialization that you have taken, okay. So suppose I'll say that there is climate change also, okay. Now if you're talking about climate change, that is not directly related to psychology as such, okay, but you can say the indirect effect of climatic change, how it is impacting the mental health of our children or mental health of individuals, okay. So that will be in the domain of your psychology. So you have to choose your variables, you have to choose the topic accordingly, keeping in mind the specialization that you have taken, okay. Now once you finalize a topic, you have to prepare the synopsis, okay, and that preparation, that synopsis after you have prepared, that is submitted to your study center, to your regional center, okay. So after you submit your the synopsis to your regional center, that goes for evaluation, and once it is approved, then only you can start your project work, okay. So this you need to remember, that once you submit your synopsis or your research proposal to the regional center, you are not going to start your project work until you receive the approval of it from your regional center, okay. Now once you receive the approval from the regional center about your approval of the synopsis, then you can start your project work. You will go to the field for data collection, you will collect the data, then you are going to analyze the data using different statistical techniques, okay. Or if you have opted for a qualitative research, then you have to use the data analysis techniques accordingly. And then after the data are analyzed, okay, that you are going to discuss, compile the findings, okay, and then you are going to write the final project report, okay, and that final project report is submitted to your regional center again for then only you can appear for the your final term and examination in the form of the viva voce, okay. So these are the various steps that we have seen now, starting from the selection of guide, deciding about the topic, till you write do the data collection, analyze the findings, and then write the final dissertation or the project report and submit it for appearing in the term and examination. Now let us see some of the important dates for like MAPC project, when you are going to submit your synopsis, when you are going to submit your final project report, and when you are going to appear for the project term and examination. Now you are aware that there are two sessions, one is July session, the other one is January session. So if you have enrolled in the July session, the synopsis submission date is 1st October to 31st October, okay, and the project after that, the project report submission date is the 31st May, okay, and the project term and examination, that will be during this range, that is from the 1st July till 14th August. Similarly, if you have enrolled in the January session, you can submit your synopsis between 1st April to 30th April. Then you can submit your project report by 30th November, and your project term and examination will be from 1st January to 15th February. That is the date range. Now this is the date range of the viva voce or the term and examination of project that is given here. The regional center will communicate to you about the specific date from this date range on which you can appear for the viva voce, because that will depend on the availability of the external examiner that they will be inviting for conducting the viva voce. Okay, so that you need to keep in mind that this is the date range, and from this date range the regional center will convey you exactly on which date the viva voce will be conducted. So you have to keep in contact with your regional center. Now let us see the prerequisites of starting a project course. Okay, now you have opted for the project course. Okay, no, but there are certain prerequisites before you go for the project course. One is your guide. You have to select a guide, then you have to prepare the synopsis, and most importantly you have to complete your MPC 5 and 6 Okay, MPC 5 and 6 are there in your first year. So these pertain to your research methodology and statistics. Okay, so you have to complete these two courses before you submit your synopsis. Okay, why we have made it compulsory? Because these are related to your research methodology and statistics, which are required for doing a project course. So this you need to keep in mind, that you need to clear your MPC 5 and 6 in the first year before you go for the synopsis submission. Okay. Now, who can be the guide? As I said, the guide selection is the first criteria. So there are different criteria given in the project handbook, so that you have to follow those criteria, and then accordingly you can select your guide. You can take your guide. Academic counselors can be your guide. If you are taking any other guide apart from academic counselor, these are the qualifications that are given in the handbook also. You have to follow these qualifications and then write to us for taking the approval of the guide before you submit the synopsis. Okay. So while submitting the synopsis, you can enclose this approval of the guide also along with your synopsis. Okay. Now let us see how do we finalize the topic, because this is after you select the guide, the next important thing is that you have to finalize the topic. Okay. As I said earlier, that the topic needs to be related to the specialization that you have taken, and it needs to be also of interest to the learner. Okay. Because since it is a research study, it involves a lot of work, so you need to have some interest in the particular topic that you have chosen. Okay, it is not that your guide told you, or somebody told you, or somebody else is doing research in that particular topic. So that should not be the criteria. First of all, you need to be interested in doing project or doing a research work in that particular topic. Okay. Also, you can think about what is the sample or you want to work on. Okay, are you interested in working on adolescents, or are you interested in working with women, or are you interested in working on a particular segment or oldest people? Okay, so you have to be like, you can ensure which is the sample on which you are going to, or you are interested in working. Okay. So the population of interest, that is one thing, and then after you finalize, okay, this is the area I'm interested in working, or this is the population I want to work with, then you can search the review, search the literature in that particular area. So review of literature is another important aspect when you are preparing your synopsis. You can refer to different journals, psychology journals. You can refer to the internet. There are different search engines, okay, that you can refer to. Okay, you can refer to different articles, different books. Okay, you can discuss with your guide. You can discuss with the faculty in the relevant field, in the psychology field. You can discuss with the other people who are working in that particular area. That will help you in finalizing the particular topic and then writing the synopsis for this thing. Okay. Now, after you finalize a topic, you have to submit the project synopsis at your regional center. Okay. As I've already told you, there are tentative dates given in the handbook. Okay. And so those dates you have to follow, and accordingly you have to submit your synopsis within by that timeline at your regional center. Okay. And for preparing the synopsis also, there is a particular format given in the handbook. You have to follow that particular format. Okay. And while submitting the synopsis, there are different enclosures that you have to enclose, you have to attach along with the synopsis, starting from the pro forma for approval of project synopsis. Then there is a format for synopsis evaluation. When it goes to the synopsis evaluator, they evaluate as per this format. So you have to enclose that. And then consent letter of the guide, then copy of grade card regarding completion of MPC 5 and 6. That is also important. And then you have to enclose. So all these formats, these are given in the handbook at the end of it. So you have to enclose, fill up those appendix and enclose these formats along with your synopsis and submit at your regional center. Okay. Now let us see what is the format of the project synopsis. Okay. The format of project synopsis, it starts with the title. Then you have to give the introduction or background of the study, then review of literature. You have to cite the rationale of the study, then methodology, which includes your objectives, research design, hypothesis, sample, statistical analysis and other things, and then you have to give the references. So this particular format you have to follow while writing the synopsis. Okay. Now, after you write the synopsis is submitted to your regional center, it is approved, then you can carry out your project. Okay, so the carrying out the project stage involves data collection, data analysis, and then writing the final project or the dissertation. Okay, now after you complete writing the project report, then comes the next phase, that is the submission of the dissertation. Dissertation needs to be submitted to the regional center. Okay, and again there is a format given in the handbook. You have to follow the particular format that is given in the handbook for writing the project report. Okay, and then again this has to be submitted to your regional center by the timeline that is given in the handbook. Okay, there is a format also for the dissertation that you have to follow. Okay, the title page, certificate of originality, acknowledgement, introduction, review of literature. You have to give the rationale of the study. The format that is there in the synopsis, the format that is there for the project report, it is a little different. Okay, so you have to refer to the project handbook, and accordingly you have to write the dissertation following the specific format that is given. Okay, so results and discussion you have to write, conclusion, implications of the study, suggestions, references, and appendix. Why you have to follow this format? Because the evaluation of your project report will be as per this format. There are specific marks given for each of this. So you have to ensure that you are writing the project report, the final project report, as per the format given in the handbook. That will ensure that you get the necessary marks on the specific headings that are there. Okay. So finally, after you submit your project report to your regional center, the term and examination comes. So you have to fill up the examination form for the project course. Like you fill up your exam form and pay the exam fee for the theory courses, similarly for the project course also, you have to fill up the examination form, and then you have to pay the exam fees also. Okay, the term and examination, the total marks for the project, it is of 100, and the project dissertation, it carries 70 marks, and the viva voce, it carries 30 marks. Okay, the 70 marks are also distributed into different segments. Okay, so and then there is another important thing here, that there is separate passing mark in each component. Okay, the dissertation you have to pass separately, and the viva voce also you have to pass separately. Okay. And the viva voce will be held at the regional center, so that you have to be in contact with your regional center for the date of the viva voce, and accordingly you can appear for the viva voce. Okay, and you have to remember that there are separate passing marks, so you have to write your project report properly following the format given in the handbook, and also you have to prepare properly so that you can answer in the viva voce, and you can do well in the viva voce. So because there are separate passing marks in each of these components. Okay. Now evaluation scheme that you can see here is that as I was telling you earlier, there are separate passing, marks for each of these components. Synopsis carries marks. You have introduction and review of literature. There are certain marks for that. Rationale of the study, methodology, results, discussion, conclusion. There are separate marks for each of these components. So that is why it is important that you write each of these components properly and include all of these components in your project report. Okay, and the viva voce carries 30 marks. So the total marks is 100, passing mark is 40%, and you have to ensure that you secure passing mark, that is 40% in each of these components, that is internal, that is your dissertation as well as your project viva voce. Now project is it is purely external marking. Okay, the 100 marks, this is external. There are 70 as well as 30. Okay, and each of these things you have to pass clearly. There is no internal marks here, it is all external. Okay. Now the last part here is that ethics in conducting research. You have to follow ethical guidelines. You have to follow the ethical guidelines of APA. There is informed consent, there is confidentiality, there is plagiarism issue also. So you have to ensure that your project work, your research work, it is original in nature. There are no plagiarism involved there, and you have to ensure confidentiality of your data. So finally, as you can see here, is that project is a planned study. You have to plan your project work properly. starting from the beginning till the end. Okay, so when you come to the second year, right from the beginning, you can ensure that you plan out the project course properly so that you are able to complete it within the timeline. Okay, so you can follow the SMART approach, that your goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Okay, so if you follow the SMART approach, you will be able to complete your project within a time bound manner. Okay, so wish you all the best, and for any queries you can always contact on this email ID, that is projectpsychology@ignou.ac.in. Thank you.